evening, everyone. It's well past 7:30, and I would like to open the May 12th, 2005 regular meeting. Please take note of the 3 exits. There are 2 at the front of the building, another back here through the porch. Please turn your cell phones to a low ring or vibrate, and let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and before we have our first applicant speak, I ask that all of the board members please hold your questions until the applicant has finished their presentation, as the applicant might well answer your questions. So the first on the agenda will be Sherry Tor, as Ridgewood canceled tonight. So, Sherry Tor.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rick.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Okay, we were here last Tuesday for the workshop meeting, and we discussed the revisions that have been made to the plans. The only outstanding comments that we took away from last week's meeting was, one, that a note needed to be added to the plans regarding the office manager trailer. I worked with Mark on that note. We had a back and forth, and I believe we have the wording of that note. The wording is going to be the proposed 8-foot by 28-foot fleet manager mobile office trailer is not to be placed on site without a permit from the town code enforcement officer. The applicant/owner understands that permanent utilities, including but possibly not limited to water, sewer, and electric, are required for a permit to be issued. The design of these services are subject to the review and acceptance of the town code enforcement officer and town engineer, and that will be added to the final plan prior to signature. The other outstanding issue was the revision of the narrative to state exactly what the location of the schools are, as well as the bus schedule and routes. The narrative was revised. I emailed it in, hoping that the board might have a chance to take a look at it before the meeting, and that is what I just passed out to you now. At the end of the last meeting, we requested that a resolution of approval be prepared, and I believe we may have one for tonight to review. And that's all I have.
So, yeah. I was speaking with a resident on Franklin Road, Franklin Drive. Is that one of the roads you're going? Franklin Avenue, excuse me, thank you. And the speed limit there is what, do you know?
25.
And they're very concerned about the buses and that speed limit, because they have children there as well. And I just want to bring it to your attention that there is concern about that. I'm not saying everybody's going to be speeding, but there are a lot of children there as well, and the parents are concerned. So I just want to bring that to your attention.
We're only gonna have 4 buses traveling Franklin. We're only gonna have 4 buses traveling to Franklin, but I don't know if you're familiar with that we do it now in Monroe in the village, in Camping Grove and Verona. Someone familiar with that?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, say that one more time. Enter the microphone and keep it.
We're doing a new connection road on Rimanov Drive. So from one side from the village, you're gonna be able to drive down till the other side from the village. So you're probably gonna avoid to use Franklin Road.
I see, the reason why you have that in your narrative is
What?
I'm sorry, you say.
If that connecting road is gonna be done, we might get avoid to use Franklin Road.
okay, so I know you're well aware of this issue. We discuss this just about every time. You've come before us, this Franklin Ave issue. Can you explain to me where the Stroud Cove court is? Because I'm not sure where this extension is.
You know where Cookway is?
I'm sorry, say it again?
You know where the shopping center is?
Which one?
The main shopping center in the village, in the middle of the village.
Okay.
Over there, you know where the doctor's office is? Next to the shopping center, there's a doctor's office, health center.
Okay.
Over there is their old, it's called Van Buren.
Not a map of that scale.
Anyone have an idea where this is? I might be on. Do you know when this road's gonna go through?
They're holding the middle to build it.
I'm sorry?
They're holding the middle to build it.
Yes, sir.
They're holding in the middle to build it.
Holding in the middle.
The middle.
What does that mean?
They're building it now.
Through the process
The
of
process,
construction?
yes.
Do you know when they're gonna have it completed?
I think a year from now, or less.
And where does that connect to?
To-
The other side, so it's going to connect to what
It's
road?
going to a street named Prague, which is next to Bakertown.
Okay, so it'll feed people out to Bakertown.
Yes. So that's going to avoid a lot of traffic in the area.
Right, and I see you've got, the whole Franklin section, I was a little confused by this. In your Franklin Avenue, you have a Franklin Avenue section. And you've got, the board requested us to address whether Franklin Avenue will be used as a route to the boys' schools on Larkin Drive. It wasn't just the boys' schools on Larkin Drive, it was the use of Franklin Avenue, period. So, I don't know if that changes this paragraph or not, because you may have limited this to only the use of Franklin as the voice of, but I'm not sure. Do you have a narrative? Can you look at it?
Which page?
Page 3?
Page 2?
Page 3, the Franklin Avenue section. So, I wasn't sure, you said the board requested us to address whether Franklin Avenue would be used as a route to the boys' school on Larkin. That wasn't our request, it was whether Franklin Avenue would be used as a route, period.
Correct.
And I'm not sure if that changes this paragraph at all with that broader scope.
I think there's a little bit of semantics there. I think he's
Okay.
just referencing that that's where they're going. If
Okay.
they're not going to Larkin, then they're going right across the street.
Right, so they don't need to go to Franklin. Okay, so that's what you're saying. But that makes sense because Glenwood's over on that side, so they don't even need to cross that.
Right.
Okay, and so. Okay, so for purposes of the public here, I'm just gonna read this paragraph because the public is, many people have come before us concerned about this. The only time traveling through Franklin Avenue would be practical is when 3 buses pick up the nursery girls located at Larkin on their way home, as the other female students are located at the Glenwood building, which is a close proximity to the parking area. Once the drivers pick up the nursery girls at Larkin, they stay with their buses till they end all their runs at the end of the day. The buses thus stay in Curious Joel after their first pickup and have no reason to go through Franklin, which would be a longer route to Larkin. I don't understand that paragraph, and it's probably not you, it's probably me. Could someone explain, does anyone else understand this paragraph? Maybe it's just me that's missing it. No? Okay, maybe you can explain this to me. And maybe, and I see you've got the bus schedules and routes on the other side, so maybe that would help you. Could you
Well,
explain this to me?
I have a question about that.
Wait a minute, let's keep order. All right, Lisa McQuaid.
So the Franklin Avenue paragraph, does this make sense if the connection road is built? Or is that as it stands today, the roads that are currently there?
That's right. If the connection
The
road,
connection road is.
when the connection road is
Okay.
built, because they're in the process of it.
Okay. Does that make sense, Roger? When they build the connection road?
Then the buses would stay in the village.
No, I still need to understand what this paragraph means, don't we?
Okay.
Does anyone know this after? Once the connection road goes through, this paragraph's irrelevant, but that's a year from now.
No. This paragraph includes the connection road, which is kind of what's left out.
It does?
Yeah, yes.
Which page are you on?
Mark, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
This paragraph, Franklin Avenue paragraph,
Page
includes
three.
the connection road actually being included?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay, so someone needs to explain this paragraph to me.
Is it saying that it's only going to be used for the first pickup at Franklin Avenue and then it won't be used again? That's what I'm getting from it. Is that right, Mark?
Look, I look at the bus schedule routes and I see
Okay.
at least 4 routes more using the Franklin. If you look at the bus routes, Franklin's all over this thing.
That's true.
So I'm confused. And it sounds like you're saying only the nursery girls' schools.
And that's only the first pickup.
Once they're picking up once they're dropping off the Glenwood girls, then they're going back to the village to pick up the other people to take to Larkin. So there's no reason why they should travel by Franklin Avenue. It's a longer way. So it's easy for them to go in KJ and then from KJ to go to Larkin because they're picking up people, the kids in Larkin.
So you're saying that they're gonna be avoiding Franklin Avenue?
Yes.
So they pick up at Glenwood first.
But when will they be using Franklin?
What?
When will they be using Franklin for
Only
just
for
this
the-
first
Only for
pickup?
the nursery, because the girls, there's some girls in Larkin Drive. So they're picking up the same time when they're picking up the girls, they're dropping off some in Glenwood and then they're going to Larkin. So the
Why
best
were they
way,
going to Larkin
by Franklin.
by Franklin?
So the best way for them is to go by Franklin to Larkin. But the rest of the people, they're going straight to Larkin, so there's no reason from the village to go via Franklin to go to Larkin because it's a longer way. It's easier for them to go from the village.
So it's simply, so all the girls get on the bus first goes to Glenwood, and then from there, and the older girls get off,
Yes.
and then the little girls stay on, and you take Franklin over to
Yes.
Larkin. Drop
Yes.
off, and then I think you're saying then, oh, this is a pickup though, this isn't drop off, I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong, no. Franklin, 3 buses pick up the nursery school girls, so this is a pickup at Larkin. All right, so we're not talking about taking them, we're talking about picking them up.
Picking them up and then taking them back too.
I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
What road do they use to get to Glenwood?
By the overpass, then they're making a left on Forest Street. Once they're coming out from the village, they're going right by Glenwood. Glenwood is next to the village.
Yeah, Glenwood's directly across the street.
Yes.
So I don't know if you, just to clarify, the driveway to Glenwood is directly across the street from this project.
Right. What roads are they using to get to Glenwood? I mean, if you're not going too far.
Across the street.
They're going from Acres. You know where the overpass is from the village? They're passing, you know where the overpass is? Getting out from the village?
Okay, near North Main, you mean? kind of on the Glenwood side?
By the Glenville side, you know where the overpass is? It's next to the public safety garage, next to, you familiar with, where the overpass?
I thought you meant that once the connection road, because from Glenwood, I'm not sure, you know, if you're going near North Main Street at all, because the roads in the other direction I wasn't familiar with. Well, you're talking about the connecting road, that's what I thought you meant.
This is before the.
Lisa,
connecting
talking to
road.
you, Mike, okay?
Okay. That's fine, I'll follow.
I think you're thinking of the connecting road.
Right,
It's not here yet, a frame there.
So the way I understand the route, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the buses leave the bus parking, they go into the village, they pick up the girls. The 8:10 and the 8:35, they come back from the village and drop off at Glenwood. They have, the way I understand it is they have the younger girls on the bus at that time.
Sounds like.
They go from Glenwood down Franklin to Larkin. They drop off. Then they stay in, based on what that paragraph says, they stay in that area. And then after pickup, they pick the girls up at Larkin. They come back up Franklin, pick up at Glenwood, then go into the village, drop off, come back through the village and go to the parking lot.
So they're using
that
Larkin
correct?
in the morning and at night,
Yes.
yeah. And this is actually saying that, not that, this is saying they do it once. If you read the paragraph. And I'm not sure if it's on, if it's morning or night, but they're saying they do it once. Buses that stay at Curious Joel after their first pickup and have no reason to go through Franklin Avenue. That's where I get lost. See what I'm saying? You're confused too, right? I understand what you're saying, but you understand this paragraph does not say that, it says the opposite. I don't think it's saying what you're saying. And the schedule, I don't understand the schedule to school. See, the schedule is saying what you were saying. It's saying they're using Franklin in the morning and Franklin in the afternoon.
Right.
But that is not what this paragraph is saying. You don't
Not
think.
saying, not
Yeah,
saying.
the schedule is what I was going by.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the schedule was added and this paragraph wasn't revised from the,
I looked at the
December.
previous ones, and in fact, it was revised.
it was.
Although I didn't, I have it in the car, I don't have it with me. I don't remember how it was revised.
Maybe at this point in time, it would be a good idea if you rewrote this. So, you know, everyone understands it easier. It just, it's very confusing.
I mean, I hate to hold you up, but
But, oh, excuse me, let me speak just a minute, Martha. I think it might be best if you were to rewrite this. Because speaking about it over and over and over isn't gonna change what's on paper. So I think if we go ahead and have you guys change it, that would be the way to go.
are you done? Yeah,
Did you want to, do you want to
Yeah.
be recognized to speak?
sure. Okay,
Member Schwartz, you may speak.
thanks. Do you know if there's speed bumps on Franklin? I think there is. Anyone know? I thought.
I don't know. I was looking at the road. I know it's, 24 to 30 feet wide, it has a
Yeah.
double yellow line the whole way, and it has white line striping the whole way.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a typical town road.
Is it your understanding, I'm sorry, I don't remember the representative's name. Is it your understanding that 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 Franklin will be used in the morning and in the afternoon? To speak. Yes?
Yes. As from the schedule, yes.
Look, I'm trying to help you out here. I don't want to hold you up for this, and I tend to, I want clarification on this, and I want it to be clear, and I don't want to hold you up because the narrative is unclear. If you can make it clear on the record. But I'm lacking confidence at this point that you really know whether or not Franklin's will be used in the morning and the afternoon.
Mr. Walter, do you know if Franklin will be used in the morning and in the afternoon as it stands right now?
I understand, yes.
It will be.
That's not what this says.
I understand.
Okay.
Well, part of it says that,
You're saying that it doesn't say so.
Well, the schedule says it, and then unfortunately Franklin Ave paragraph doesn't quite make that clear. Do you know how many buses? Is it all the buses that will use this route? I guess so.
Franklin?
Well, I guess all of the girls are gonna get on one bus. Correct? The nursery school girls and the older girls.
I think it's only 4 buses. If you talk about Franklin,
Yes.
I think there's only 3 or 4 buses.
Okay.
Not all of them.
Right, because the rest are boys.
No, the girls all do, but don't.
And that was my question.
The other girls is going down as well.
Right.
We have 1,000 girls, for example.
Are all the girls getting on are little girls and then older girls getting on the same bus? Or will there be some buses solely used for the Glenwood School?
It's all the same.
Okay, so if it's all the same, then all of the buses used for girls will be using Franklin at some point. Because the little girls gotta get to Larkin, correct?
You need to say if it's going to be designated that this bus number, if this bus only using Franklin?
No. If older girls going to the Glenwood School are going to be the only girls on certain buses, those buses will never use Franklin, correct? Because they're going to Glenwood.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you, are there any buses that are solely designated for the girls' school at Glenwood? And you said no. They will both be little girls and older girls on all buses.
I understand that, yeah, if I have designated buses saying that this bus is only going to Glenwood School. You need to say that if in like, let's say 10 buses, and all the buses can be a little nursery girl. That's what you're asking?
Yes.
No, there's going to be just 2-3 buses on that
From what?
for nursery. Not all the buses are going to be nursery girls.
Will there be older girls in those buses?
Some girls are going down the road. That's why you need to
Mark, do you
start.
understand what I'm asking? Okay.
I was trying to take on.
Okay.
Mr. Donnelly, what do you think we should do at this point as far as getting this paragraph straightened out?
You have two choices.
I can't hear you.
You have two choices. There are none.
Air conditioning.
I'll just talk about it.
Go ahead.
If you have two choices, you can put it off till next month and have the narrative redrawn, or you can approve it subject to somebody, I don't know who that somebody is, approving the corrections to the narrative, bringing it into conformance with your understanding of what the routing schedule is. That can be confident that one person can say the revised narrative says what you want it to say, then we can approve it until 90 days. Or wait till next month.
I hate to put it off another month, but I think we're going to have to. This is, it's too important that we just, let this go by.
Since we was waiting so long to get it approved and we didn't have a designated place for the buses, is it possible to make it subject to someone shall approve it and make sure, I will make sure that tomorrow I have it clear enough in this narrative? Because we was waiting for the county, a letter was waiting for that, it's months of months what you're waiting for that. So, is it possible to get it subject to approve?
How long would it take to get this together and get it to me?
I can have it by tomorrow afternoon.
Mark, will you be available tomorrow afternoon?
In town or by phone?
By phone.
Should be mid to late afternoon. I'm tied up most of the rest of the day, that meeting tomorrow night. I mean, I'm as confused as I think anyone on this board is with the narrative.
Yeah.
I've been successful in bringing the site plan to a conclusion, but the narrative still is confusing me as well.
Okay.
Member Schwartz, how do you feel about it?
If you could submit a narrative, I hate to make them wait.
I do too.
But at the same time, honestly, in your response to what you're saying, it was months ago that I asked you, your applicant, to revise this narrative. You never did it. I had to remind you last week, and now you're doing it at the last minute, and it's still not here. I've tried, I've asked you 16 different questions to walk you through this thing, and it's still not clear. I've done what I can do to make it clear, and it's going nowhere. So my suggestion would be if you could submit something tomorrow, and if the chairwoman would be kind enough to circulate it, if we could get on board and we understand it, maybe we could go forward. But if not, then you're waiting till next month.
I really appreciate that. As you know, that I wasn't involved in the beginning, so I wasn't familiar with that. What I suggest is that if it's possible that we shall wait till tomorrow afternoon, and I will send it in. If the board recognizes and it's okay, everything was right, then it's approved. If not, then I guess we're going to need to wait till the other one.
Just so you understand, as soon as you get it to me, then I can send it to the other board members. We can have a conference call. So there's a lot going into this to get this done for you. And Member Schwartz did go out on her, out of her way to really help you get this done. And you weren't able to answer her questions, and we are all confused with that.
The board can't have a conference call, it's the open meetings,
No.
but you could send it to all the members,
Right.
each member corresponds
Right,
back
but
to
I
the
meant
chair.
for Mark and I to have a conference call, excuse me.
And then you make the call as to whether it's satisfactory based upon the comments you get from individual members.
Correct.
You vote.
Does that satisfy the board?
I just have a couple more questions, though. Yes, it does. In your Franklin Avenue paragraph, you talk about, where is it? They'll stay with their buses until once the drivers pick up the nursery girls at Larkin, they stay with their buses. Where are the buses during the day? Where are they being stored? Are they going back to this location, or are they staying at Larkin?
I think that's pretty much what you're gonna have to correct.
I'm just wondering if you know, so if you can tell us. Do you know?
I will rather make sure tomorrow that I have that all
So make sure that's clarified in there too, yeah.
If you have all other questions, please ask it to me, so I will be able to clarify everything you're gonna have.
Okay, so add that. Sorry.
All right, so, any other members have any other questions? Or if you have additional questions, feel free to send them to me.
I think this will do, yeah, just.
And then I can forward them on, okay?
Thank you.
Is that it?
So, the way I understand it, then, the board is going to review the resolution and build build that in as a condition?
Yes. Is that correct? That's
Yeah, I
correct.
believe so. yeah.
Yes.
If you look at the resolution, go to page 3. There are no public improvements, so I'm crossing out that section. The first condition is a sign-off memo from Mark, and you see in his memo there's a handful of outstanding items that need to be corrected. I'll make the second condition the requirement that the applicants submit a corrective narrative and that it be signed off on by the chairwoman based upon comment you've received in her consultation with Mark. The condition after that is we will tie into that narrative and make that the limit of the activities that can be carried out, and anything in excess or change would require an amended approval. Because we have the condition in Mark's memo regarding the use of the trailer and prior approval of the building inspector, I will add that same condition. It's in italics in Mark's memo. I'll also make that a condition of the resolution, meaning there can be no trailer until the building inspector is certified that it's permissible to have.
Where's that gonna go?
I'm sorry?
How are you gonna do that? I'm sorry, say that again?
See the condition in Mark Edsell's memo
Yes,
is in italics?
Yes.
I'm just gonna copy that and put it right in here as a condition.
okay,
So
good,
it'll be both on that note and a condition.
okay.
The next is the bus idling prohibition. Condition number 4 relates to the potential future taking by Orange County. I have sent you a letter. The applicant has prepared the declaration. They're awaiting recording it, and they will have to record that as a condition of this. And the site plan will not be signed until they presented us with a cover letter saying they sent it to the clerk for filing. Condition number 5 is your standard drainage condition, and number 6 is your standard condition that says they may not build anything on the site that is not shown on the approved site plan.
I have a couple questions for you, Mike.
Yeah.
The environmental assessment form, I was going through all my packets. I cannot find one for this project after it moved to Forest Edge. I have the ones from Larkin, the original, but I don't have, do you have one?
It should have been a part of the application. We did a revised application, it should have been attached to that.
Maybe you could refer to it by date then, Mike?
Well, this one is a type 2, so it doesn't really, it's not as crucial here because it doesn't really require secret compliance. But
Right.
there should have been an EAF identifying it as part 2.
I didn't have one, I don't know. But that could just be because my packets aren't all that organized, but.
Short form and by, yeah,
You have it?
yeah. Let me just make sure it's for this one. Tax lot 1-2-40.
Should be like August 2014 or after, I think. I think that's when it changed over.
The cover letter was September 23rd, 2014.
That would make sense.
So we do have the EAF.
Okay. So, and when you refer to the narrative, can you refer to it narrative dated such and such? I know it's going to be attached, but let's just make sure they match up.
We'll assume it's dated tomorrow, or somebody
You
will
could
tell
try
me.
it, yeah. Let's hope. Let's go with that. Just because there's been a lot of versions.
Yep.
So, let's make sure.
I'll do that.
I actually have 2 questions also. The first is just a statement, the plans
416.
so far, yeah, 416.
I have that.
Okay. And my other question is in regard to the public improvements. I don't know.
There are none, I just crossed it out.
Okay.
I don't believe there were any. Right, there's no public improvements. If there are other questions, somebody would need to move to approve the resolution, the second, and then.
I have a question.
Yep, sure.
How does this address the trailer?
If you take Mark Edsell's memo and there's the language he is quoted in there that's a map note. I'm gonna take that same language and add it as a condition to the resolution.
I thought I heard you say that, but then I wasn't
I
sure
didn't
if I
do
was
it yet,
following
because I
you.
just saw the memo tonight, that
And
so
now,
I'll add it. I had a note from last month's meeting that I thought we were gonna do that, then I thought last Tuesday we decided we were gonna do away with the trailer, so I took the note away. But now that it's worked out, the language is perfect, I'll just add it as a condition to the resolution.
On the second page of my comments,
Mhm.
the second bullet under number 3, there's
Yes.
italics,
We got it.
which is
we
the
got
note.
it.
Yeah, I'll just put that right in there as a condition.
Mark and I went back and forth and agreed to this specific version.
Okay,
So I remember Mark,
I
right?
have another question then. So if we vote on this, we're voting with the trailer, as long as it's
The
approved by
trailer
the
will be
town?
allowed if approved by the building
Okay,
inspector. yeah.
thank you.
So it's up to him.
That's where we left off last week, though, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. Just
Apparently.
want to make sure I wasn't missing
And
something.
that means the power,
you're approving a location, and
Right.
you're saying as long as they meet all the requirements for utilities prescribed by Ben,
Mhm.
then fine. If you don't meet those requirements, then you can't put it on the site.
okay,
Yeah, we agree to that.
There's no half road. You gotta do it right or not at all.
okay, so I need a motion, is that correct?
Correct.
For a resolution, is that correct?
Yes,
As amended.
correct.
So would someone please make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Would someone second that motion, please?
I'll second it.
Member Schwartz, your vote?
Yes.
Member Triano, your vote?
Aye.
Member, let me go ahead. Member McQuaid, your vote, please?
Aye.
And Member Tutini, aye.
Thank you very much.
Before we're leaving, just want to make sure that I total from tonight, the only concern is about Franklin, when it's going to be used and how it's going to be used.
Where the buses are going to be parked during the day.
That's why I add up over there. And about Franklin, when it's going to be used, exactly when and where and how.
Yeah,
Okay.
bus routes.
And if you want to add those two questions, I'll make
And I
sure.
think Mr. Walter, Member Schwartz had a question about where they would be parked during the
Yes,
day.
I
the buses.
added
Okay,
for
good.
tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.
Good night, thank you.
Aye.
Next is Shea Meadows. Looking for a 3-month extension, is that correct?
That's correct.
Let's go for it. What do you got?
Yeah, as we discussed last week, we continue to work on the financing for the conventional
Yeah. Let's go.
subdivision's final approval, so we require a 3-month extension while we move through that process.
I did look at my calendar, but I didn't write down the date, I don't know if you got it. August 11th.
Okay, so would someone like to make a motion, or is there any discussion first? I'm sorry, is there any discussion from anyone?
That's fine.
Member Schwartz, any discussion? Member McQuaid, any questions?
No.
Do you have a question?
I was gonna make a motion.
Would someone please make the motion for
I
an
make-
extension?
I make a motion for a 3-month extension to August 11th.
Would someone second that motion, please?
I'll second.
Audra, your vote, please?
Aye.
Your vote, please?
Aye.
Lisa, your vote, please?
Aye.
And Tutini, aye.
Thank you.
And we're ready to move on to Forest Edge. That would be a 5-month extension.
Yes, Forest Edge, as we discussed, the owner, the parcel is a portion of the current annexation petition. Our clients would like to wait and see what happens with that. There was a request that we provide a letter stating what is taking place on the property. Provided that letter week. And previously, you extended the approval 1 month, so we are now requesting the additional 5 months.
October 13th.
Is there any discussion for this? Member Schwartz?
I don't think so.
Member Triano?
No.
Member McQuaid?
No.
And I have none. So I would need a motion, please, for the 5-month extension. Someone make that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Would someone second that motion, please?
I'll second it.
Member Schwartz, your vote, please.
Aye.
Triano?
Aye.
McQuaid?
Aye.
And Tutini, aye.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to Smith Farm. And this will be the discussion of landscaping.
Thank you.
This is brutal to the eyes. Mark, you didn't make friends with this one.
Well, this is Steve Esposito's plan, so I can't take credit for this.
Always have to remember big print.
Okay, so on Smith Farm, what we're trying to do is we're trying to address any outstanding questions and move the project into a final approval. As we discussed at the last village planning board workshop meeting, when the town board, planning board was there also, they wanted you to come up with any remaining questions that you might have, and the remaining questions really centered around the landscaping, the lighting, and the road names. Steve Esposito, our landscape architect, was here last Tuesday to present the landscape and lighting plans. The board indicated that those plans are acceptable with one request for revision, which was additional evergreen screening trees around the water tower, utilizing the same species that I just passed out to you is the revision to the plan, which is adding additional evergreens all around the water tower, as you can see on the plan. And we used the species, the cedar, the Douglas fir, the green giant arborvitae, and the white pine that was discussed with the Henry Farm project. So that, I just wanted to show the board that revision has been made, so settle the final remaining question on the landscaping. As far as the road names go, we discussed that the village planning board will be naming the 2 roads coming in off of Gilbert Street. That would leave 4 remaining road names for the town. I believe you were going to contact Gary Parisi to see what direction they were taking as far as the road names, and then come up with a list that can be presented or suggested to the town board for acceptance of the additional 4 road names. And I believe that we will further discuss this tomorrow night at the village planning board workshop meeting.
That's correct, yes.
So I don't know if you have any suggested road names at this time, or if you want to hold them for tomorrow.
I believe Audrey, you had one.
I had just suggested something after Charlie Finnerty, and then it occurred to me that maybe you want to do something for the
Well, that would be, that would be, bring that up tomorrow night.
Yeah, I suggested it to the Charlie's name.
Right, I saw that, the planning board.
Charlie, yes.
Right, okay. And I suggest anyone here who has any names that you really contact the planning board and attend the town board, I'm sorry, the town board, as well as attend the village planning board tomorrow. So you can get your names in there, or at least email Gary Parisi so he's aware of them. Now, I was wondering, could I get this, can you email me this?
Sure.
Direct, because I want to make sure Gary gets a copy of this, because I so I wanna make sure it doesn't feel left out,
Right, absolutely.
okay?
Is it deep, I can't even, did Dara cedar, is that a red cedar?
Yes, I believe so.
And I don't know if the water tank, is the water tank town, or is that?
It's in the town, but it will be owned and operated by the village.
What did we provide for fencing, I cannot remember.
I believe it's a 6-foot high fence that surrounds the water tower.
So it'll surround the trees that are going to be planted around the large tower.
I
And same,
think Ward has some comments
so
on
the same
that as well.
deer fencing issue that we had at the other, at Henry Farm.
Sure, I
We
will,
talked about putting some, not chain link, but some other kind of fencing to protect these trees while they're growing.
I'll make sure that Mr. Esposito has that on.
Excuse me, Ward,
Okay.
Ward, sit right over in Gary's seat.
Board Brower, Conservation Commission. I just have a question, Mark, on the cedar that recommended for Henry Farms, the juniper virginiana. That is a native species. This one, this looks like it's not the native species that I'm used to seeing. This looks like a cultivar. What's that little? What's that? Concerns. It's a cedar.
The cedar, that's what I was just
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, I took a look at that, you're right, before you even mentioned it, right? So if you can,
So what you recommended was,
the juniper virginiana, okay, that's a native red cedar, it's called a red cedar, common name, and the Latin name is juniper virginiana. I would strongly recommend if you do that, because I have a track record for our environment, which is ever-changing and extremely harsh on these plants, that I wouldn't see. Especially in this mini droughts that occur about every 6 months.
sure, I don't think you'll have a problem with that.
Okay, thank you. And the fencing, Lisa, what was it?
I think Audra had a question on how high the fencing would be.
Well, no, just that I want the same kind of fencing, it doesn't have to be chain link, the same thing we provided for at Henry Farm, the deer fencing.
Right, I have
Oh, okay.
I have the condition from the resolution of Henry Farm, so I can just, it's all spelled out in there, I'll give it to them.
Yeah, Morgan and I kind of fleshed that one out for Henry Farm.
Yeah, and on the deer fencing, you have to watch the deer fencing. Again, if you're going around the tank, rather than individually going around the plants, you're safe on that. And it depends how close you're planting to the tank, because deer will jump, and then I've seen them jump over 9.5 feet if they have an opportunity to do so. So I always suggested not to have a deer fence all the way into the ground, because if you do that, then it becomes problems with weeds. You get these viney weeds which go in there, and you have problems. So I'd rather have they hold it about a foot above the ground.
We did 18 inches for Henry Farm, so 18 inches above the ground and then 6
I may be a little optimistic.
I don't know, but that's what we had.
Ah,
Because that's what
okay.
my notes say, I don't know what ended up in the resolution.
That's what's in there.
But that bottom strand is extremely important, and it has to be a wire strand. The deer fence can be that plastic deer fence, heavy-duty plastic deer fence. There's a couple of varieties of deer fencing. Go for the more residual, or I should say, or the tougher version, and rather than the cheap stuff. The cheap stuff does not hold up. But it's crucial, that bottom wire, because they will push. I've seen them push to try to get under it. So yeah, and the deer are habitual creatures. If you can extinguish it initially, they will leave you alone. But if they once get an opening, you'll never be able to extinguish it. They'll go in Herculean efforts to push that fence out. I've seen it.
So toward that end, though, I mean, you can't really put it in the resolution, don't use the cheap stuff.
No,
So,
it's
is there a brand or a line or something?
Can they use the same that was used?
Provide a detail on
For Henry Farm?
Yeah,
Henry
provide
Farm?
a
Yeah.
detail, I guess is what I'm suggesting.
Yes.
No, don't know.
Can they use the same that was used in Henry Farms?
Well, I don't think we specified Henry Farm, so I don't think I thought of it.
No, I don't think so. Normally, that deer fencing runs at about 7.5 feet high. The better quality is deer fencing, from my recollection.
So maybe you can just bring some details on that to the meeting tomorrow, or have your guy let us know, and we can flesh that out.
But it is crucial.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll probably do it with a notation in that area,
Okay.
specify what it is.
Okay, but I cannot overstress that deer fencing is extremely important. You establish that first couple of years, you'll be home free. But if you don't do it, you're in trouble.
So you can maybe get some information on that from the meeting.
Sure.
That's it for me.
All right, thank you, Ward.
Right.
Okay, my only other questions are, Mike, did you reach out to,
Yes, Leslie Dobson's been very helpful. She's provided me with about 2 or 3 inches worth of material that includes all of her memos since preliminary approval, a copy of the draft resolution. I do have a copy of the homeowners association bylaws. Both David Levinson and Leslie Dobson have examined those, and they feel comfortable that all of the conditions that were to be included in the homeowners association bylaws as required by the preliminary resolution are there. I'll take a look again myself. We have a draft of the public improvement security agreement that I have in my file, and I'll go over all of Leslie's memos and the resolution, so by the time of the next meeting, I'll have a resolution of my own.
great, so what our goal, just to give you our idea of the path, what our goal is then to have the workshop meeting tomorrow with the village, come back next month with you, with a resolution and ask for a final approval at next month's regular meeting. So we'll review the resolution at the June workshop meeting and ask for a vote on that resolution at the June regular meeting. Okay?
Any other questions? Member Schwartz? Triano?
No.
Member McQuaid? And I have none. Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow night.
We're going to discuss minutes tonight, but because we have 3 people that are absent, I'd like to hold it off to the next meeting.
Are we posting draft minutes on the website, despite not
Yes.
discussing them?
The draft minutes have been posted for a couple of months now.
Okay, so we're not discussing them, but we're posting them.
We're discussing minutes, oh, excuse me. I've been posting draft minutes. When did we have that vote? Mike?
Either 2 meetings ago or last meeting, I forget.
Probably about 2 meetings ago. And they're clearly labeled draft on the website.
No, I understand that, yeah. Any idea on how much longer we're gonna take to resolve the issues, you think? Without having a major discussion here, so you know.
Hoping next week. Okay. It's just, there's too many people out, so I think it's fair that we do that without all the members here.
Okay.
Okay?
I go either way, I can discuss it now, doesn't
No,
matter.
I think we should go over the members.
Just open.
What do you have?
One item,
What I,
the, Herman.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. The, remember?
Herman Business Park.
oh, hibachi. There's a new restaurant opening up at the Harriman Business Park. It's a hibachi, Japanese food.
Lot
Go ahead.
Lot 2 of the Harriman Business Park, which the original site plan approvals back in 2001 referenced it as Retail B, the structure, it's a strip mall. It's on the north side of Larkin Drive, tax map number 2113.1. The code enforcement officer / building inspector Ben Maldonado asked me just to make the board aware of the fact that he had received an application to renovate the interior of one occupancy. The approvals that were granted back in 2001, actually August 14th, 2001 was the resolution, had as condition number 26 that if there was over a 4,000 square foot occupancy that was being proposed for a permit, that there was the option to have it receive a follow-up review of the planning board. Ben advises that this is well under the 4,000 and that he's processing the application. It's going to be a hibachi Japanese restaurant. There's, I believe, 13 tenants in that series of occupancies. It is a permitted use, it's a special permit use, but because there are already several other eating establishments on the site, speaking with Mike, it's a site plan with a special permit now for these restaurants. So Ben is processing the application, he just wanted me to have the board be aware of it.
Is this up by Sleepy's?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
that's
is the
what we
Outback
Okay.
site.
There'll be competition for.
So there'll be some, you have a choice.
You have
Choices.
Chinese, you have Italian, you have Japanese.
So where's it going, at the very end?
It's, I believe toward the middle
Oh,
of the strip mall.
okay.
It's good to have it healthy rather than have it vacant, and Ben just wanted the board to be aware of it.
Great.
That's all I have.
Okay. So can I get a motion to close this meeting, please?
Your job
Would
is.
someone make the motion?
The motion to close.
Would someone second that motion, please?
I'll second.
Member Schwartz?
Aye.
Aye.
Member McQuaid?
Aye.
And Zucchini, aye. Thank you.